With Star Trek, Strange New Worlds officially confirmed to conclude with a shortened fifth season, the series is on course to wrap up its story across familiar celestial ground. As a prequel to the original series, the show is inherently bound by canon. Characters like Spock, Nyota Uhura, and Captain Pike already have established fates, some tragic, some iconic. But what if the finale doesn't just fill in the blanks, but boldly rewrites a few of them? In a franchise defined by its optimistic vision of the future, few stories have embraced that ethos quite like Strange New Worlds. It's hopeful, character-driven, and celebratory of classic Trek themes. However, with the end in sight, there are three main directions the show could go, and one of them would be a daring, canon-shattering move that might just redefine the legacy of the series. The safe bet, a hopeful, open-ended send-off. The most likely ending is one that mirrors Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. In that film's final moments, Captain Kirk famously gives the order to fly toward the second star to the right and straight on till morning. It was poetic, unresolved, and left room for infinite possibilities. For Strange New Worlds, this means letting the crew of the Enterprise continue exploring without necessarily confronting the inevitable. The fates of characters like Una Chin Riley, Lon Noonien Singh, and Erica Ortegas remain ambiguous enough to allow a finale where the ship simply sails off into the stars. This ending would preserve the original series timeline, offer fans closure, and leave the door open for future cameos, movies, or even a Picard-style legacy revival. For many, this would be the most Star Trek way to end, hopeful, quiet, and full of possibility. The canon-weaving ending, bridging to the Menagerie. For diehard Trekkies, Strange New Worlds ending by merging with the events of TOS two-part episode, The Menagerie, could be a masterstroke. That episode canonically shows the fate of Captain Christopher Pike, severely injured and confined to a chair that leaves him barely able to communicate, before being offered sanctuary on Talos 4. Since Strange New Worlds already plays heavily with that part of Trek history, a finale that leads directly into The Menagerie would satisfy continuity purists. It would solidify the show's place within Trek lore, while giving Pike's character a truly tragic and heroic ending. It would also reinforce the idea that even in a utopia like the Federation, some fates are inescapable. This option would honor canon and provide emotional weight, but also restrict the creative possibilities for characters who don't have preset fates. Still, it would please longtime fans looking for seamless narrative bridges. The controversial choice: rewrite Pike's fate entirely. But let's be honest, Strange New Worlds isn't just about honoring the past. It's also about reimagining Star Trek through a modern lens, giving old characters new depth, and exploring storylines that TOS only hinted at. That's why the boldest, and arguably most satisfying, ending would be the one that changes Pike's fate altogether. Yes, the Menagerie established a future where Pike is confined to a mechanized wheelchair, a living tragedy. But Strange New Worlds has made Pike more than a footnote in Spock's backstory. He's a complex, courageous leader who knows what's coming and lives every day under that shadow. Letting Pike escape that fate, not through retconning the past, but via clever time travel, alternate timelines, or some form of metaphysical reprieve, would be controversial, no doubt. But it could also be cathartic. This version of Pike has earned more than silent suffering. After 2 decades of Trek playing it safe, maybe the franchise is ready to rattle its own mythos. It wouldn't need to negate the Menagerie entirely. In fact, Trek canon already accommodates multiple timelines, alternate futures, and temporal anomalies. The Kelvin timeline made that clear. Why not create a branch where Pike's story ends not in silence and immobility, but in continued command, exploration, or even sacrifice on his own terms? Why the risk is worth it? Sure, it would stir debate. Fans would argue over what's real canon and what's not. But controversy is often the mark of great storytelling. For a character as well-written and beloved as Pike, a fate that reflects his evolution, not just a box checked on the canon checklist, could elevate Strange New Worlds from a good prequel to a great series in its own right. Star Trek is about boldly going where no one has gone before. That shouldn't stop just because we think we know where the story is supposed to go. Sometimes the best endings are the ones that change everything we thought we knew and challenge us to imagine something better.